Hello, my name is Anna. Welcome to another English lesson. Welcome to your listening course. Let's start with the vocabulary. Here you are. It's when someone gives you something and says that you can take it. Just here you are. Hand. It's when you give something to somebody. Cord. So this is just something strong to tie things. Then the string is thinner than that, and there's also a rope that's the biggest and the strongest, but they all are made of the same material, the frame. So that's where a picture is usually put, and it's usually decorative and heavy. So when it weighs much, when it weighs a lot, and it's hard to rise it, hard to lift it. Then driving, that's what you do with nails and a hammer. Then crash. So this is the noise, kind of a noise. So there came a crash. It's when you hear about it and you say about it. Yell is to shout. Then stuck. It's one. For example, you stick the nail into the cushion, for example, and when something sticks out, it means that it's pointing out. Struggle. It means to try really, really hard. Then desperately. It's when you don't have hope. So you don't hope, but you really want to achieve certain result, and so you do some activities desperately, just because you want that result, and so you're trying to get that result, but you really don't hope and don't believe that you really that you can really get this result. And then tone, again, it's just like broken, choke. It's when it's hard to breathe. Then own in just you mean when belongs to something belongs to someone. Then squat. So squat is now I'll try to make our actors help us. And so this is Hugh, and so now Hugh squats. Oh, you don't see him. Just a second. So see, he started kneeling. Sorry, I didn't mean you to kneel. I just wanted you to squat. Just a second. I'm trying to make him take this position and show it to you. So now Hugo is squatting. So it's basically when you stand, but then you bend your knees and you move down, but you don't sit down. You're still on your feet, but you are very, very low and you're like sitting. So this is squatting. That's what it is. Good. Let's continue. Let's continue. And so huge is very, very big. Then stream. So this is about movement of water of a river or something like that. So and that's how it happens. It streams and manage is when you find a way to cope with something, when you succeed, when something is not so easy, but you try hard and you find the way to make it work. You manage to make it work. Then free. So free, when it's an adjective, it means that you don't pay for it, or it also means that the person is not busy and the person doesn't have any restrictions. And if it's a verb, it means that a person was kind of stuck, had some trouble and was kind of stuck. And another person did something so that um, this situation was resolved, and so now this person became free. And so it means that you freed the person. You did some action to make him free, to help him become free. You freed them. So that's how it is. Then cardboard. So this is like this is the material like paper, but it's much thicker and it's solid. And the most frequent use of this material is for boxes. So there are lots of cardboard boxes, and it's really convenient to keep something in cardboard boxes. Then press. Just a second. Let me try. So I'm now, just let me show you. I'm now pressing Sam to my heart. So I'm pressing. And of course, it can be used in different senses, but just so that you know how the basic meaning works. So that's how it works. And then let's move forward. And look at the next word. And the next word is scream. So this is when you shout. When you shout, when you scream, when you make a loud noise with your voice. And so this action can be spoken about as set a scream. So you can just say that she screamed, but you can also say that she set a scream. Then pet. So this is not only about animals like a cat and a dog, but it also can be used about someone who you love, and you kind of spoil them with some good things. Then below. So below, it's like just at the bottom, so it's somewhere down out there. So you are above, and this something is below. It's lower than you. And so when something comes from that place. You say like it comes from below. So it's like that. And sigh. So it's a loud exhale, and it's usually with a relief when you were nervous, for example, and then you see that there's nothing to be nervous about anymore, and you sigh with the relief. But also it can be the sound of sadness, of regret when something sad happens, and you're just like, oh, just also a sigh, but with a very different emotion. Then, so sad and sadly, I already spoken about these emotions. So when something is not so good, when there's a reason for regret, and when there is a reason to feel sorry about something, that's how it is. You feel sad about something, and you do something sadly, and I already told you about this fact when you spill something. So it happens accidentally, and there is a phrase, cry over the spilled milk. It just means that that's that something happens, and so it's already done, and there's no use to go around this thing and just keep on regretting and just waste your time on emotions instead of continuing, because it's like that. It's already can't it can't be undone. You can only uh, fix it by continuing and improving, by developing. But that what is done, although it gave the bad result, the result is bad, but it cannot be changed, it cannot be undone. So this is why regretting it would be like crying over the split milk. And so this is why there is kind of a motivating phrase: don't cry over the split, don't cry over the spilt milk, move forward. But of course, there can be much more motivating phrases, and they sound better, and they can work better than this one. But still, this phrase exists, and just why not remember it, right? After all, we can remember it. So rich is one you have enough, and sometimes even more than enough, because you can have surplus, and you can use this surplus for some good purposes, for some useful purposes. And when you are not rich, and then you gradually come to this different state, gradually, or maybe quickly, when just something happens, for example, and so then it happens quickly. So it can happen in different ways, but when that happens, it means that you get rich. So you become rich, you get rich. Then agree. So agree means that you are of the same opinion, or you just accept the point of view in a conversation. And when several people, for example, gather and discuss something, and they make a decision together. And so when they decide, and they when they are really confident about it, and when they just know everything that's important to know, and when this decision is 100% and there's no uncertainty about it, and they know exactly what to do, and they have their plan of action, and they have their goal, and so they're just like one. So they came to agreement. And they can say to each other, uh, agreed. So it's just like settled. So the decision is made, and it will happen exactly like we decided it to happen. And unfortunate is the opposite of fortunate. And so unfortunate has lots of bad luck, whereas the fortunate has a lot of luck and success. So that's how this happens. And this is our today's vocabulary. Now we are ready to continue and really, really continue with our listening practice. So here's Mr. Christian, here's Lily. Pretty soon, Lily came back. Here you are, Pa, she cried, handing him a few nails and a hammer. Oh no, kid, these nails won't do. They're too short. Pick out the longest ones while I look for a piece of cord. Here's the string, Pa, Lily said, handing him a piece of thin string. No, it won't do either. The frame is very heavy, and we must have a strong thick cord and long nails. All right, Pa, just a minute. I know where to find all this. And the little girl ran out of the room. When she returned, carrying some long nails and a piece of thick cord, she saw her father standing on a chair with the picture in his hands. Now, Look whether I'm holding it straight or not, asked Mr. Kristen. Lily raised her head and looked up. Yes, Daddy, you're holding it quite straight. That'll do. Then give me a pencil, please, her father said. What do you need a pencil for? Asked Lily. I'm going to make a mark on the wall to drive the nail in, answered Mr. Kristen. Here's the pencil, Dad. Thank you, darling. Now I'll. But Mr. Kristen did not finish the sentence. There came a crash, and Lily saw her father standing on the chair without his head. Oh, Daddy, Daddy! Yelled the frightened little girl. Oh, Daddy, darling, where's your head? Mr. Kristen couldn't say a word. The picture was lying on his shoulders, while his head was sticking out on the other side of it. He struggled desperately, trying to take the torn picture off his neck, but the head got stuck in the thick paper, and it was choking him. Daddy, Daddy, screamed Lily. Speak to me. Why don't you answer me? Where's your head? The child was scared to death. She was squatting on the floor, looking up at the huge golden frame in which her father's body was stuck. Tears were streaming down her round, frightened face. At last, Mr. Christian managed to free his head from the cardboard and lift the frame off his shoulders. When Lily saw her father's face again, she rushed into his arms with a wild cry of delight. Daddy, let me kiss you, let me kiss you. I'm so glad you found it. And she pressed her right cheek to her father's face. You silly little goose, why have you set such a scream? How can a man lose his head? Don't talk nonsense, pet. But you've lost it, Pa. You really have. I've seen it myself. What nonsense! Cried Mr. Christian, laughing. No, Daddy, you've lost your head. Now you've found it again. You had that nasty picture instead of your head, said Lily. Oh, I see now, exclaimed Mr. Christian, laughing. You couldn't see my head from below. Now I see why you've been so scared. Take this nasty picture away, Daddy. I hate it. I'm afraid of it. It may jump on your shoulders again, Pa. Take it away. Do take it away. Mr. Christian sighed and looked sadly at the torn reproduction. What a pity! It was such a beautiful picture, though it was printed on paper. All right, kid, you won't cry over the spilt milk, he said in a grave voice. When I get money once more, we'll buy two such pictures instead of one. Agreed? Yes, Dad, agreed, cried Lily, and the picture was taken away. So, this is the story about the father and the daughter. What do you think about them? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next lesson.